Ethan Mercer stood at the large window of the spaceship EDF Dauntless, looking out at the stars. His blue eyes reflected the distant lights as his mind filled with worry. 3 years ago, humans had met the Galactic Council for the first time. Everyone on Earth had celebrated this meeting. They thought joining the space community was a good thing. Ethan now knew they were wrong. The door to the viewing room slid open with a soft hiss. Olivia Winters walked in, holding a small computer pad. Her usually neat brown hair was messy, and dark circles showed under her eyes. She hadn't slept well for days. "Commander, we caught another message," she said, her voice tight. "They're moving faster now." Ethan took the pad and read the information. His jaw tightened. "How much time does this give us?" "Less than we thought. Maybe 8 months. Not a year." The Galactic Council had 7 old alien groups who controlled most of the Milky Way galaxy. They had acted friendly and helpful when they met Earth. They offered to guide humans as they joined the space community. Earth's leaders had eagerly signed papers, shared technology, and welcomed council members to live on Earth. But something wasn't right. Amanda Reeves had found this out first. As Earth's speaker at the council base on Centauri Prime, she had access to old records. She noticed a pattern that made her stomach turn. She sent secret messages to her friend, Daniel Blackwood, who worked with Earth's military. Daniel looked at star data from the past 50 years. What he found was scary. Every new group that joined the council had a big disaster within 10 years. These always looked natural, like a sun going wrong or a moon crashing into a planet. But they always happened after the new group had shared all their special technology and told the council where all their resources were. Earth was next on the list. "Call everyone to the war room," Ethan told Olivia. "We need to talk about what we found." 20 minutes later, Ethan stood before a table of serious faces. The room was plain metal with no windows. The only light came from the big screen on one wall and the table that showed maps and data. "Thank you for coming so quickly," Ethan said. He pushed a button, and the big screen lit up with Amanda's face. She looked tired but determined. "Ambassador Reeves, please tell everyone what you told me," Amanda nodded. "The council has a secret plan called Project Cleansing. They see new space groups as a problem, as competition. They let them join, take what they need, then get rid of them." General William Hayes, an older man with gray hair and a stiff manner, leaned forward. "You're sure about this? This is a big claim." "I'm sure," Amanda said. "I found records they thought were locked away. They've done this many times before." Dr. Samantha Collins stood up next. She was the best star scientist on the ship. Her curly red hair was pulled back and she used a light pen to point at the data on the table. "The council has put special machines near our sun," she explained in simple terms. "They call them research stations, but they're not for research. They can change gravity. When they turn them on, they'll make our sun unstable. It will send out huge flares that will burn our planet." The room was quiet as everyone took in this news. Lieutenant Greg Martinez spoke first. He was young, only 30, with dark eyes that now showed fear. "But we can't fight the whole council. They have thousands of worlds and ships. We only have Earth and a few colonies." "We don't need to beat them in a direct fight," Ethan said. "We have something they don't expect. The truth about what they did to others before us." He turned to the screen again. "Amanda, have you made contact with the group we talked about?" She nodded. "Yes, they're scared, but they'll meet with us. They've been hiding for a long time." "Good." Ethan looked around the room at his team. "From today, we start Operation Lighthouse. The council thinks we're just getting ready to join them more fully. They have no idea what we're really doing." As the meeting ended, Ethan stayed behind with Olivia. She waited until everyone had left before speaking. "Do you think this will work? We're betting everything on this plan." Ethan looked at the star map still showing on the table. Little red dots marked where the council had placed their gravity machines around Earth's sun. "It has to work," he said quietly. "If it doesn't, Earth dies." On the other side of the solar system, on a space station near Pluto, council member Cathal watched engineers work. He wasn't human. He had 8 mouth parts that moved when he spoke, and his skin was hard like a shell. He smiled as the workers put special devices around the station. "How much longer?" he asked the head engineer. 2 days to finish here. Then, we moved to the next point. Cathal nodded. Humans were so easy to fool. They believed the devices were for cultural exchange and communication. They had no idea these machines would help focus the sun's energy when it started to break down. Humans were clever for such a young species. They had some interesting technology and useful resources. The Council had taken most of what they needed already. Soon, humans would join the long list of species that the Council had removed from the galaxy. Cathal didn't feel bad about this. It was just how things worked. The strong survived. The Council had been doing this for millions of years. Humans were just the latest in a long line. What Cathal didn't know was that humans had figured out the truth, and they were already working on a plan that would change everything. Deep in the belt of rocks between Mars and Jupiter, Commander Mercer's small ship docked with a hidden station. This wasn't on any map. As Ethan stepped through the door, he was about to meet with the last people he expected to find in space. The survivors, the ones who got away, the species the Council thought they had destroyed long ago. And together, they were going to stop the cycle of destruction once and for all. The hidden station was small but packed with technology. Ethan Mercer looked around in wonder. Some of the machines looked very old, while others seemed more advanced than anything humans had made. "Welcome, Commander Mercer." The voice came from a tall figure who stepped out of the shadows. She looked almost human, except her skin gave off a soft blue light. "I am Nara, last royal child of the Eltari people." Ethan tried not to stare. The Eltari were supposed to be gone. The Council records said they had all died when their sun went supernova 200 years ago. "Thank you for meeting with me," Ethan said. "I'm sorry for what happened to your world." Nara's light dimmed slightly. "It was not a natural event, as you now know. The Council killed my world after taking what they wanted from us." A rumbling sound came from behind her. A large rock-like being moved forward. It had no face that Ethan could see, but a small blue crystal in the center of its mass glowed when it spoke. "The same happened to my people, the Kavari," it said, in a deep voice. "The Council said a moon crashed into our planet by accident, but they had moved the moon themselves after learning how to make our living metal." Ethan couldn't believe what he was seeing. He had expected to find maybe 1 or 2 survivors from past attacks. But as he looked around, he realized there were many different beings in the shadows of the station. Some looked almost like humans, others were very strange, with tentacles or wings or made of crystal. "How many of you are there?" he asked. "Not many," Nara said sadly. "A few hundred of each species at most. We were the lucky ones who were off-world when the disasters happened, or the few who escaped in time. We have been hiding for generations," said the rock being Dexter, watching as the Council continued their cycle of death. A new figure stepped forward. This one looked human, but Ethan knew she wasn't. Lisa Donovan was Earth's best codebreaker, but she had been missing for 6 months. Everyone thought she had died in a shuttle accident. "I found them," Lisa said, seeing the shock on Ethan's face. "I was looking into strange signals from this region when I discovered their hiding place. They've been helping me understand what we're really up against." She led Ethan to a large table with an old stone tablet. On it, strange writing covered its surface. "This is from the ruins of a civilization even older than the Council," Lisa explained. "I found the pattern. The Council doesn't just kill other species. They erase them from history. They destroy all records that those species ever existed." Ethan felt cold. "Why? What's the point of that?" "Control," said Nara. "If no one remembers those who came before, no one will look for patterns. No one will question when a new disaster happens." "But we have an advantage," Lisa said, her eyes bright with hope. "We know what's coming, and we have a plan." Back on Earth, people went about their daily lives. They didn't know about the danger hanging over them. Only a small group of leaders knew the truth, and they had started quiet preparations. In underground bases, Workers built special shelters. On the far side of the moon, engineers worked on secret ships. In case the plan failed, at least some humans would survive. On Centauri Prime, Amanda Reeves walked through the Great Hall of the Council building. Alien representatives from many worlds moved around her. None of them knew she had found out their secret. She entered a small room where a meeting was about to start. 7 beings sat at a round table. These were the High Council, the leaders of the 7 oldest species in the galaxy. They controlled everything. "Ambassador Reeves," said one with gray skin and 4 arms. "We are pleased you could join us. We wish to discuss the next phase of Earth's integration." Amanda smiled, but inside she felt sick. Of course, Earth is eager to become a full member of the galactic community. "Excellent," said another council member who looked like a large insect. "Our scientists have nearly finished installing the communication network around your sun. Soon you will be fully connected to our systems." "That's wonderful news," Amanda lied. "How soon will it be complete?" "Within 6 months," said the insect being. "Then the final phase can begin." Amanda knew what final phase really meant. It meant the end of Earth. Back on the Dauntless, Ethan met with his team to share what he had learned. "The survivors have been collecting council technology for decades," he told them. "They've found weaknesses we can use." Dr. Samantha Collins looked excited. "What kind of weaknesses?" "The council's systems all use quantum entanglement for communication," Ethan explained. "It's faster than light and supposed to be completely secure, but the Eltari found a way to listen in without being detected. And the Kavari," added Lisa Donovan, "know how to change the signals. They can make the council's own machines work against them." General William Hayes frowned. "That's good, but it won't stop them from destroying our sun." "Actually, it might," said Ethan. "We don't need to destroy their gravity machines. We just need to control them, redirect them." For the first time in weeks, hope showed on the faces around the table. "There's more," Ethan continued. "The survivors believe there are others like them on many council worlds. People who suspect the truth but are afraid to speak up. If we can show everyone what the council has done, we could start a rebellion," finished Olivia Winters, understanding dawning on her face. "Exactly," said Ethan. "But first we need to get our people ready. If this doesn't work, we need to save as many as we can." As the meeting ended, Ethan looked at the pictures of Earth on the wall of the war room. The blue oceans, the green and brown land, the white clouds swirling across the surface. His home. He would do anything to protect it. "We'll need to work fast," he said to Olivia as they left the room. "The council thinks they have all the time in the world. They don't expect us to fight back. That's our only advantage." In space, the council's ships moved around Earth's solar system. Their crews had no idea that humans had discovered their true purpose. They didn't know that, for the first time in millions of years, the hunters had become the hunted operation. Lighthouse had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. While humans worked on their secret plan, the council continued their own. On Proxima Station, near the edge of Earth's solar system, Cathal watched as workers placed the last of the devices. "Is the network complete?" he asked the head engineer. "Yes, all units are in place," the engineer reported. "They only need to be activated when the council gives the order." Cathal moved his 8 mouthparts in what his species considered a smile. The humans had no idea what was coming. Like all young species, they were too trusting, too eager to join the wider galaxy. "Begin the final tests," Cathal ordered. "We want everything ready in 6 months." Meanwhile, Earth's leaders had started quiet preparations. They couldn't tell everyone the truth. It would cause panic. Instead, they announced new safety drills. "Due to increased solar activity, we're testing our emergency systems," the news report said. People grumbled about the drills but followed the instructions. They practiced going to underground shelters. They stored extra food and water. They didn't know they were preparing for the end of the world. On the dark side of the moon, far from watching eyes, humans built escape ships. These weren't like normal spaceships. They were huge and could carry thousands of people. If the plan failed, at least some humans would survive. Frank Miller walked through one of these ships. As head of Earth's secret operations, he had helped plan everything. The ship was almost ready. Rows of sleeping chambers lined the walls. People would sleep for the long journey to a new home. "Will it be enough?" asked a voice behind him. Frank turned to see President Eleanor Mitchell. She looked tired. The weight of all humanity rested on her shoulders. "We have 20 ships like this one," Frank said. "Each can hold 10,000 people. It's not enough for everyone, but it's better than nothing," the president finished, for him. "I pray we won't need them." Frank nodded. "The operation is going well. If everything works as planned, we won't." Back on the Dauntless, Ethan Mercer met with the survivors again. This time they gathered on the ship in a secure room. "Our people have placed the devices as you suggested," Nara of the Altari said. Her skin glowed brighter when she was excited. "They're ready to activate on your signal." "Perfect," said Ethan. "And the communication system?" Dexor, the rock-like Kavari, made a sound like grinding stones. It was his way of showing happiness. "We have access to all council networks," he rumbled. "They never changed their security after destroying our worlds. They thought no one was left to use it against them." Lisa Donovan entered the room with a small device. "The final piece," she said, placing it on the table. "This will let us broadcast to every world in council space at once." Ethan picked up the device. It was surprisingly small for something so important. "Are we sure this will work?" asked Dr. Samantha Collins, looking worried. "We only get one chance." "It will work," Lisa assured her. "The council's whole system is built on quantum entanglement. Once we're in, we can send our message everywhere at the same time. They won't be able to stop it." Ethan nodded. "Then we're ready for the next step. Operation Lighthouse moves to Phase 2 tomorrow." The next day across the galaxy, something strange happened. On thousands of worlds controlled by the Council, screens suddenly changed. Communication systems played the same message on repeat. It showed evidence of the Council's crimes, records of planets destroyed, species wiped out, all hidden by the Council for millions of years. On the Intrepid, another Earth ship, Admiral Karen Rodriguez watched as the transmission reached Council. "Worlds. Phase 2 complete," she reported to Ethan. "The message is playing everywhere. They can't shut it down." The Council's headquarters on Centauri Prime was in chaos. Alarms blared. Council members rushed about, trying to stop the message, but nothing worked. "How is this possible?" screamed the High Speaker, the leader of the Council. "Find who's doing this and stop them." But they couldn't stop it. The message played on, showing the truth about the Council to everyone in the galaxy. Amanda Reeves watched from her office. She had helped gather much of the evidence being shown. Now she waited for the Council's response. It wouldn't be peaceful. On Earth, people saw the message too. The government finally told everyone the truth about the Council's plans. Some people panicked, others were angry, but most showed the strength humans were known for. They came together to face the threat. Special shelters opened. People moved important things underground. The military prepared for a fight. Earth would not die easily. "The Council's ships are moving," reported Lieutenant Brooke Anderson from her station on the Dauntless. "They're heading toward Earth." "Right on time," said Ethan. He had expected this. The Council wouldn't take being exposed lightly. "Are our defenses ready?" "Yes, Commander," said Olivia Winters. "Earth's new shield system is active. Dr. Warren's team worked day and night to finish it. Dr. Joseph Warren had led the team that created Earth's best hope for survival, a shield that could protect the planet from the solar flares the Council planned to create. It used technology the Council didn't know humans had. General William Hayes entered the bridge, his face grim. "The Council's High Speaker is demanding we surrender immediately." "Put him on screen," Ethan ordered. The face that appeared wasn't human. It had scales and eyes that glowed red with anger. "You have broken our laws," the High Speaker hissed. "You have spread lies about the Council. Surrender now, or face destruction." Ethan stood tall. "We know what you are. We know what you've done. This is your only warning. Stop your attack or face the consequences." The High Speaker laughed. You are children playing with powers you don't understand. Your sun will burn your world to ash, and the galaxy will forget you ever existed. The screen went black as the high speaker cut the connection. They've activated the gravity arrays, reported Lieutenant Anderson, her voice shaking slightly. Solar destabilization has begun. The Council had made their choice. Now it was time for humans to show what they could do. Send the signal to all ships, Ethan ordered. Operation Lighthouse moves to final phase. Across the solar system, hidden human ships moved into position. Earth glowed blue and green in the darkness of space, beautiful and fragile. The sun began to pulse with unnatural light as the Council's machines did their work. The final battle for humanity's survival had begun. The sun pulsed with strange light. It wasn't the natural yellow glow that had warmed Earth for billions of years. Now it flashed with angry red bursts as the Council's machines twisted its core. On the Dauntless, Ethan Mercer watched the screens with a calm face. Inside, his heart raced, but he couldn't show fear. Everyone on the bridge looked to him for strength. First solar flares detected, reported Lieutenant Brooke Anderson. They'll reach Earth in 8 minutes. Olivia Winters moved to stand beside Ethan. Will the shields hold? She asked quietly. They'll hold, Ethan said with more confidence than he felt. Dr. Warren's shield technology was untested against something this powerful. It had worked in simulations, but this was real. Across, Earth people watched the sky turn strange colors. Most had gone to the underground shelters, but some stayed outside. They wanted to see what happened, even if it meant taking risks. The first flare hit Earth's atmosphere. It was huge, bigger than any natural solar flare in recorded history. For a moment, the sky turned blood red. Then the shields activated. A blue glow spread across the sky. The deadly solar energy pushed against it but couldn't break through. The shield held. In his office on Proxima Station, Cathal watched in shock. This wasn't possible. Humans shouldn't have this kind of technology. What's happening? He demanded. Why isn't their world burning? Unknown, said his assistant. They appear to have some kind of energy shield. It's blocking most of the solar radiation. Cathal slammed his fist on the desk. The Council was clear. Earth must be cleansed. Increase power to the arrays. The Council ships moved closer to the gravity machines. They would push the sun harder, create bigger flares that no shield could stop. But they didn't know the full. Human Plan Admiral Karen Rodriguez watched from the bridge of the EDF Intrepid. Her ship was hidden in the shadow of Mars along with 20 other Earth vessels. The Council ships are in position. She reported to Ethan via secure channel. They're exactly where we want them. Good, Ethan replied. Prepare to spring the trap. For months, humans had been placing their own devices near the Council's gravity machines. These devices weren't to destroy the machines, they were to control them. All teams report ready, said General William Hayes from his command center on Earth. Waiting for your signal, Ethan took a deep breath. Everything depended on what happened. Next, execute Phase 3, he ordered. Across the solar system, humans activated their hidden devices. The Council's gravity machines suddenly glowed with new energy. But instead of aiming at Earth's sun, they changed direction. What's happening? Screamed Cathal as alarms blared throughout Proxima Station. The arrays are shifting target. The gravity beams that had been aimed at Earth's sun now pointed in a new direction, towards the 7 home worlds of the Council species. On the High Council's space station, the alien leaders watched in horror as their own weapons turned against them. Stop this immediately, the high speaker roared into the communication system. Return control of our arrays. Ethan's face appeared on their screen. You should have listened to our warning. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, something else was happening. On thousands of worlds controlled by the Council, people were rising up. The subject species had seen the truth about the Council's crimes. Now they fought back. The Council had ruled through fear and lies. Once those were gone, their power crumbled quickly. Rebellions reported on over 600 worlds, reported Lisa Donovan, reading the incoming data. The Council's forces are spread too thin to stop them all. Frank Miller smiled grimly. His teams had helped arm these rebellions. For months, Earth ships had secretly delivered weapons and communication equipment to resistance groups across the galaxy. The Council never expected anyone to fight back, he said. They've gotten lazy after millions of years of easy victories. Back on Earth, President Eleanor Mitchell addressed an emergency meeting of Earth's united government. The shield is holding for now, she told the gathered leaders. But we can't maintain it forever. We needed to take more direct action. Images appeared on the screen showing the Council's gravity arrays now pointing at the Council's own home, worlds. We gave them a chance to stop, President Mitchell said. They chose not to take it. One of the leaders stood up, looking worried. Are we any better than them if we use their weapons against them? We'd be killing billions. We're not going to activate the arrays, the president assured him. We just need them to think we might. It's leverage to force a surrender. In space, the Council ships tried to approach their gravity machines to retake control, but human vessels moved to block them. A tense standoff began. On the Dauntless, Ethan received a message from the high speaker. You don't know what you're doing, the alien leader hissed. Those machines are delicate. If mishandled, they could create a chain reaction that would destroy this entire sector. We know exactly what we're doing, Ethan replied calmly. We had help from people who understand this technology very well. The high speaker's eyes widened as Nara and Dexter stepped into view behind Ethan. Impossible, the high speaker whispered. The Eltarian Kavari were exterminated. Not all of us, said Nara, her skin glowing bright blue with emotion. We survived. We remembered. And we helped humans prepare for you. Now you have a choice, Ethan continued. Order all Council forces to stand down, release control of all occupied worlds, or see how it feels when your own weapons are turned against you. The high speaker's face twisted with rage. You would destroy 7 worlds, billions of lives, you claim to be better than us, yet you threaten genocide. The difference, said Ethan, is that we're giving you a choice. You gave your victims none. Across Council space, more and more worlds declared themselves free. The Council's military, stretched too thin and facing enemies on all sides, began to fall back. Council ships are retreating from Earth orbit, reported Lieutenant Anderson. But Ethan didn't smile. The fight wasn't over yet. The Council had ruled for millions of years. They wouldn't give up easily. Stay alert, he ordered. This might be a trick. He was right to be cautious. On Proxima Station, Cathal had one final plan. If the Council couldn't have Earth's resources, no one would. Prepare the destruct sequence, he ordered. If we can't control the arrays, we'll destroy them all at once. What Cathal didn't know was that humans were listening to every word. Operation Lighthouse wasn't just about fighting back. It was about being one step ahead. The trap was set. Now it was time for the final move. On Proxima Station, Cathal prepared to destroy all the gravity arrays. His fingers moved quickly over the control panel. In a few minutes, the arrays would explode with enough force to damage everything nearby, including Earth's sun. It wouldn't destroy the star, but it would cause massive solar storms that no shield could block. Self-destruct sequence initiated, said the computer voice. Final countdown begins in 30 seconds. Cathal smiled. The humans might have been clever, but they had missed this backup plan. Or so he thought. I wouldn't do that if I were you, said a voice behind him. Cathal spun around. Frank Miller stood in the doorway, a small weapon in his hand. How did you get in here? Cathal demanded. Frank smiled slightly. We've had people on this station for months. Did you really think we wouldn't have someone watching you? Cathal's eyes narrowed. It doesn't matter, the countdown has started, you can't stop it now. Actually, we can, Frank said. He held up a small device. This station's main computer has been under our control since yesterday. The real countdown hasn't started yet. What you're hearing is just a recording. For the first time in his long life, Cathal felt fear. The humans had been several steps ahead all along. Across the solar system, human ships moved into position around each gravity array. Teams of specialists went aboard, not to destroy the machines, but to take full control of them. All arrays secured, Admiral Rodriguez reported from the Intrepid. Our teams are in place. On the Dauntless, Ethan Mercer nodded. Good. Keep the arrays aimed at the council worlds for now. We need the high speaker to understand we're serious. The communication screen lit up again. The high speaker looked less confident now. You've made your point, the alien leader said. What do you want? Complete surrender, Ethan replied. All council forces will withdraw from Earth space immediately. You will recognize the independence of all worlds under council control, and you will face trial for genocide. The high speaker laughed, but there was no humor in it. You ask too. Much. The council has ruled for millions of years. We will not surrender to children. Then you leave us no choice, Ethan said. He nodded to Olivia Winters, who pressed a button on her control panel. One of the gravity arrays activated, not at full power, just enough to send a small pulse toward one of the council's minor moons. The beam hit the small world, and cracks appeared across its surface. Within minutes, the moon broke apart into floating rocks. That was a demonstration, Ethan explained. The next target will be your homeworld. The high speaker's face changed. For the first time, the alien looked truly afraid. You would do this? You would destroy billions of lives? No, said Ethan firmly. We don't want to hurt anyone. Unlike you, we don't believe in punishing entire species for the crimes of their leaders. But we will do whatever it takes to protect Earth and free the galaxy from your control. He leaned forward. You have 1 hour to begin your withdrawal. After that, we start using the arrays. The screen went dark. Ethan hoped the high speaker would make the right choice. Despite everything, he didn't want more death. Back on Earth, President Mitchell watched the sun. The unnatural flares had stopped, but the star still didn't look quite right. It would take time to return to normal. Will they surrender? Asked one of her advisors. I don't know, she admitted. They've had power for so long. It won't be easy for them to give it up. Across the galaxy, the news spread quickly. The Council, which had ruled for millions of years, was facing defeat. Subject worlds declared their freedom one after another. Council forces, confused by contradicting orders and facing rebellion everywhere, began to retreat. The hour passed. On the Dauntless, everyone waited tensely for the high speaker's response. No communication from the Council, reported Lieutenant Anderson. What are your orders, Commander? Ethan closed his eyes for a moment. He had hoped it wouldn't come to this. Prepare to activate the nearest array, he said quietly. Target the smallest uninhabited moon in the Council's home system. We'll give them one final warning. Before the order could be carried out, the communication screen lit up again, but it wasn't the high speaker this time. It was a different alien, one Ethan hadn't seen before. I am Elder Drath of the Inner Council, the alien said. The high speaker has been removed from power. We wish to discuss terms of surrender. Ripple of surprised whispers moved through the bridge crew. Ethan kept his face calm, but inside he felt a rush of relief. We're listening, he said. We will withdraw all forces from Earth space immediately, said Elder Drath. We will recognize the independence of any world that wishes it, but we ask for mercy for our people. They did not know what their leaders were doing. Ethan nodded. We have no quarrel with your people, only with those who ordered the destruction of innocent worlds. Over the next few days, Council ships pulled back from Earth and other freed worlds. The gravity arrays were dismantled. The 7 Council species, once the rulers of the galaxy, now had to learn to live as equals with those they had once dominated on Earth. People came out of the shelters and looked up at the sky. The sun was yellow again, warm and friendly. The shields were no longer needed. Life could return to normal, or rather, to a new normal. Earth was now part of a much bigger community. 1 month later, representatives from all freed worlds gathered on Earth. Humans, Eltari, Kavari, and dozens of other species met as equals to discuss the future. We must build something better than the Council, said President Mitchell as she opened the meeting. A true alliance of equals, where no species fears destruction from the others. Nara of the Eltari stood next to her, her skin glowing softly. After hiding for so long, my people can finally rebuild. We thank humanity for their courage. Dexter rumbled his agreement. The Kavari will never forget that humans fought not just for themselves, but for all of us. Ethan Mercer watched from the back of the room. His part in this story was largely done. Now it was time for diplomats and builders to take over. But he couldn't help feeling proud. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and shown not just strength, but wisdom. "What do you think happens next?" asked Olivia, standing beside him. Ethan smiled. "Something better, I hope. The galaxy is wide open now. No more secrets, no more lies, just endless possibilities." Outside, people looked up at the night sky with new eyes. The stars weren't just distant lights anymore. They were destinations, homes of friends and allies. A new age had begun, and humanity had helped create it. The story of the Galactic Council's deception was over. The story of what would replace it was just beginning.